Hello everyone and welcome to Exploration Series 3 Episode 2. In this episode we will be following the Edinburgh, Loanhead and Roslin Railway. The railway was first opened in 1874 and provided services between Edinburgh and Roslin with calling points of Portobello, Miller Hill, Gilmerton, Loanhead and Roslin.
Path, which is where the railway follows, and it then came across where this road is and went up this way. As you can see ahead of me, it's now been made into a public footpath, and that's what we're going to be following for the rest of the video.
Passenger and goods revenue rose steadily during the first year, with 21,049 tickets sold at all three stations between February and July 1875. There were 4 daily trains in each direction. The first was the 8:35 a.m. from Roslin with a journey time to Edinburgh of 38 minutes, and the last train returned to Roslin at 8:58 p.m. After such a great first year of revenue for the railway, plans quickly came in place to extend the line as far as Glencorse. The original plan was to have Glencorse station opened by April 1876. But this was proved over-optimistic as work progressed very slowly, hampered once again by very bad weather. Glencorse Station eventually opened on July the 2nd, 1877, which provided passengers a new link on the railways.
Here we are at the first overpass for the main road that leads you down into Shawfair and Miller Hill. This bridge is very much still intact from how it was when the railway went over it, and looking at the railway from the other side we can actually still make out that it is very much a railway bridge. I'm going to stand up here. This might not be wise, it doesn't feel safe at all, but you can see if you look over it's still very much the structure that it always was. So this long path that we're now following for the next hour or so will eventually lead us down to Loanhead, which is where we will find the Bilston Glen Viaduct. So as we go along we're going to show you what we find, any good sources of the railway, and we will show you.
Here are the names of the collieries that were located all over this line: Gilmerton, Straighton, Ramsay, Bilston Glen, Burlee, Roslin and Eastfield. These were the names of the collieries that were given official rail links on to this brand new line. This allowed them to have their production levels raised significantly, and it helped them deliver everything they needed throughout Scotland. Their biggest export, of course, being at the colliery, was coal. And with this new line, they were able to deliver and receive so much more than what they could have when using roads. The railway provided a fantastic link to not just passengers, but also to the industry, which at this point would have been at its highest peak.
So just above me here, which we're about to go under, this is a bridge. Well, it's more, because the length of it, I suppose you could call it a mini tunnel. This takes you underneath Gilmerton Road, which leads you from the Edinburgh City bypass into Gilmerton. So we'll walk through the tunnel. As many structures are on these old railways, it's another fantastic brick structure with a lovely echo. As you can very clearly see, because of how wide it is, this was on a single track. Now if we look ahead, we have some kind of mysterious blue structure. I've never quite seen anything like it. From here it doesn't look like it has any footpath going over it. From here it looks like it might just be some pipes that went over the railway, but we'll have a look. So in front of me here we have this mysterious blue structure. Turns out this actually is a bridge. It carries a little road over it that leads into an industrial estate. This has got to be one of the strangest bridges I think I've ever seen. Just the way it's built, it just doesn't look like a bridge. It feels a bit different. It's almost like looking at a crane. Yeah, it's very cool. So you can see the structure ahead, you can see the structure above. Really got some metal, got some steel iron here as well. Very cool. So yeah, this is a small industrial road that leads into the Gilmerton industrial estates above us. And as you can see, the path ahead is still wide and far, so we're not done yet. We are now in Loanhead, and after a short walk down the railway from the start of the town, we have found the old station. Over there is the old station building, which has now been converted into a house, dated 1874, and next to it you can just make out there on the brick building it says booking office. These were both the station buildings of Loanhead, and we're going to go and show you the front of them as well. It appears the old station building here is currently being converted. Hopefully it's going to be converted into something that will make its history continue to be known. You can see at the front here we've got more of the structure. So where we're standing right now, this is where the platform would have been, and this is where the track would have been as well. So this was the Loanhead station. As we now make our way further away from the station building, we see this brick structure at the side of the path here. This was presumably part of the platform structure itself. It must have been a very long platform then, must have been a busy station, because it goes all the way and ends over here. As you can see, there's a little step there as well, which maybe led down to the track in case there was ever an emergency. Not sure. But now we are going to be going under the main town road of Loanhead. We've got a fairly big bridge here. Well, it's a tunnel, I'm going to call it a tunnel. You can see the brick structure starts quite early here as we start to head underneath it. So now we're going to have a look inside. So this here is the main tunnel of Loanhead. This takes you underneath the busy town road above. As you can see, it's quite a long structure. This is the longest tunnel that we've been through today. The other ones haven't really been tunnels, they've more been longer bridges, but this one is a tunnel. So above us, as I said, we have the main town road. We've got some buildings as well, busy bus route as well, mainly East Coast buses and a little bit more coming down here. So we now start to come to the end of the tunnel. We are drawing even closer now to the Bilston Glen Viaduct, which isn't too much further away. And once we get there, we're going to get some fantastic drone footage. Well everyone, here we are at our final destination. This is the Bilston Glen Viaduct. And if you come over here with me, you can see there's some lovely plaques up being left. This plaque here tells you about the history of the rail network that surrounded this area. It also tells you a little bit about the fantastic structure we're standing next to. And this plaque over here commemorates everyone that was involved in the collieries and everything industrial-wise that happened in the local area. And now we're going to walk onto the structure itself. The glorious structure you see before you was opened in 1892 and was engineered by James Bell. The structure stands 140 feet above the valley floor. It has a main span of 331 feet and two side spans which are both 60 feet. The overall length is 444 feet. When this line first opened in 1874, a very different bridge stood over this valley. It was another viaduct, only this one was engineered by Thomas Butch. Butch would later come under fire 5 years on when his version of the Tay-Rail Bridge came crashing down during a storm on the 28th of December 1879. This event unfortunately led to the death of 75 people who were crossing the bridge at the time on board a local service. Following on from this devastating tragedy, many people across the UK and the world began to doubt the structural worthiness of the bridges that Butch had engineered. It was for this reason that a new Bilston Glen Viaduct was built, and the new replacement structure still stands to this day. Trains stopped travelling over this viaduct in 1969 and the track was uplifted in 1972. Luckily, however, thanks to a £1.5 million renovation job done by the Edinburgh Green Trust, the line was reopened as a public pathway in 1999. This reopening included all the amazing bridges and tunnels we have visited today. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the second episode of Exploration Series 3.